Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm super excited to have you here. I am speaking with my friend and another badass business lady, Emily Cassel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to have you on my podcast. You've got a podcast too, and you are one of the amazing advocates for women out there in the world. And so I'm just really happy to be able to have this conversation with you today.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so glad that we finally have gotten to schedule this and have face-to-face time together on Zoom. I feel like we've been trying, as we were saying before we started recording, like it's been so many attempts and then like, oh, we have to reschedule, or oh, this thing came up, or whatever, which is totally fine. I love to roll with what happens, and I don't, it's just the way it goes, but I'm so grateful.
Yeah, it's real life. So for those of you out there, we are real people. It happens. And as you know, the entrepreneur roller coaster, we get to pivot and move the best that we can, for sure. So Emily, you are such a great advocate for helping women business owners kind of build and grow their business in a regenerative way. And I would love for you to kind of share a little bit about what that means and the work that you do, if you could start there.
Yes. Okay. So when I think about building a business that's regenerative, I often think about the complex systems that have to happen together in a business. And I think about that as an ecosystem. So I usually use the term like business ecosystem when I'm talking with my clients. And that seems to be something that people can understand and wrap their heads around, because ideally, if we want to create a regenerative system, we want to think about it as we would our planet, our ecological ecosystem, where everything needs to be functioning together in harmony, in balance. And we need fertilizer for certain things, and we need enough resources to make certain things work and happen. And we need pollinators, and we need all these other pieces to come together. And so that has become like a very ongoing metaphor in my work with women. And it seems to be something that we all kind of mutually understand. And when we put our businesses, when we overlay the ideas of our businesses over that kind of metaphor, things start to kind of click and make a little bit more sense. And we can see where the gaps might be, or things that are not thriving that could be, and get curious about what they need to be able to create those conditions for thriving. And so when I think about creating a business that's regenerative, I often think about it and pull in my background in sustainability and sustainable food systems. I studied that in undergrad, and also psychology and focus in positive psychology and marketing, all of these different things that like somehow have merged together really beautifully in the work that I get to do today. So when I think about regenerative business, I think about how can we create a better way of doing business that actually fuels us and feeds us and feels really fun and joyful, and like we're not depleted or exhausted, which is the way that I think most, not you, but most people are thinking about business, right? And even when we think about just things that we take and hold as truth or business wisdom from years ago, or things that people just kind of say offhand about business, they often are very extractive phrases or things that are not regenerative, right? And so a lot of it is about shifting our perspective about what is possible, and noticing that like maybe there is a way better way that this could be, and holding the space and possibility for this gets to be joyful, this gets to be fun, this gets to be nourishing for me as a woman entrepreneur. And it doesn't have to be this one way that I work myself into the ground, or I sacrifice the rest of my life to fuel my business, or gosh, any of those things that we tell ourselves, like our mental health or our well-being physically, or our relationships have to suffer in order for us to be successful. It's just not true. And we get to create a new paradigm and a new way of being in relationship with our work. And that often includes a lot of like systems and operations and things that maybe surprise people when we actually start to talk about it, but that are so necessary to actually creating a system that functions fluidly and friction free for the most
Ooh, I
part.
love that. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, there are so many ways that we do that. And I'm just coming off of the Women Up retreat this last weekend on Isle of Palms, and it was such a beautiful experience. And it was, again, just more evidence to me that like, oh, I actually feel great and energized after spending, what was it, like 5 days with clients all day, every day. Like I actually have built this in a way that truly is regenerative and sustainable for me. And that's such a great moment in time for me to like remember that, oh yeah, that is why I did it this way. And there's so much intentionality and innovation that goes on behind the scenes to create that outcome and that experience for myself and for others. But yeah, it's an ongoing evolutionary journey. And I think that also is something I'm often talking about with clients and women in general, is just that entrepreneurship and leadership are such evolutionary paths. They are not linear, as we know, and we're always becoming a new version of ourselves. We're always being asked to rise into the next spiral of evolution in our work. And if we're listening to that, and if we're tuned into that well enough, then we never feel stuck.
Yeah.
Or like there's a dead end, or like we're too overwhelmed or not capable of creating whatever is next. And of course, those feelings are feelings and part of any evolutionary process, but we don't stay there because we keep moving through the phases of evolution and the seasons of our business and the different creative phases and processes that happen all the time and repeat. And the more familiar and more comfortable we get with those, and the more acquainted we get with those over the long haul, the more we learn to trust the cycles and the seasons of the way that things continue to evolve. And the more we know it's temporary, any discomfort or unknown or anything that we might be moving through. So that's the gist, I think, behind that.
Oh my gosh, I love all of that. Especially when we think about, this evolutionary piece of, we're, at least one of the myths that I bought into was that there's going to be this one time where everything works and then it's going to work forever.
Yes. Right? Like there's this true destination where we just like figure it out and then nothing ever changes again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we all hold that until we learn like, oh, that's actually not how it works. I have clients ask me all the time who are just in the more beginning and foundational stages of business. They'll be like, so does this like get easier? And I'm like, well, the things that are hard right now, yes, they do get easier. But overall, does this get easier? Kind of, but like, if we're always growing and evolving, there will always be new learning curves. There will always be new things, new growing pains as we continue to grow and scale. And, the challenges that you have year one are very different than the challenges you have year 10, but they're still challenges and they still feel challenging. They still feel like, wait, there's a problem to solve. And that's why, gosh, I really emphasize with clients, like, how do we solve the right problem at the right time? Because often we'll try to solve these problems. We'll like jump 10 steps ahead of ourselves, and we'll be worrying about or focusing on or trying to set something up that like is actually not the priority in this exact moment or in this season. And yet we're spending all of this time and focus or worry on that thing that's actually like not the problem. Like your branding is probably not the problem if you're trying to just make sales right now. Like it's probably not about your brand. It's probably more about your relationships, your connections, your different ways that you're actually bringing in leads. Like that's a totally different thing. But a lot of people, we want to go for the things that feel sexier, the things that feel interesting or the things that feel fun, of course we do, we're human.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but
Yeah.
often we'll start to like spin out and then end up in these really challenging financial situations or making investments that actually don't feel like they're moving the needle because we're trying to solve the wrong problem
Mm-hmm.
at the wrong time. And I don't remember now where that tangent came from, but it's a really
With
important
our,
thing.
yeah, it is with the, with our evolution and, not, feeling like there's one thing that's going to work all the time, that we really
Yes.
do get to, try something, and sometimes it will work for a while. But as we've seen from even just the past 2 years,
Mhm.
marketing and, online marketing and, with the introduction of AI, I mean, there's so much that shifts that we have to allow ourselves to evolve,
Mhm.
individually as people, but also we get to evolve in our business. And, one of
Yep.
the things that I share with my clients too is there's always going to be a new level, right? There's the saying, new levels, new devils, right? It's
Yep.
where we accomplished the where we are at this level and it feels comfortable, and then we're evolving into this next level and it's like, oh, okay, this feels a little sticky, this feels a little wonky, and it will until
Mhm.
that becomes the new norm, and then we move up into another place. So there's always this, I love the visual of the spiral evolution where we're continually rising, but just because it feels challenging doesn't mean that there's something going wrong. It just
Right.
means that we get an opportunity to take a look at where we are at this next evolution in our business, and we can
Mhm.
also take a look at what's working, what's not working, what do we want to keep, what do we want to let go of, how do we want to move forward. I know you and I both have done much of that work in our businesses where we're like, not going to continue this anymore, going to stay
Mhm.
here, this is what really feeds my soul now. I tried this for a while and just realized that, but it's all beautiful and it's all feedback, and it all is, allowing us to create the businesses that do feel really good and soul aligned with our joy
Mhm.
and fulfillment.
Absolutely. I think that's always like it's a constant state of refinement and gathering
Mhm.
information, like you said, that feedback at every level, at every turn. And I think sometimes we process that as like, oh, I failed, or this didn't work, or
Yeah.
that wasn't a great thing. And it's like, well, actually, had you taken, that same offer in the same everything and plunked it into a different season or phase in your business where it was the right time, or when the
Hmm.
conditions in the landscape of your industry or the world or whatever were a certain way and have now shifted, maybe that thing would actually work great. And now you already have it built and
Yeah.
you already have the idea and the copy and the
Yeah.
structure and the pricing and all the things done, and like here we go.
Hmm.
Not
Yeah.
always, but that sometimes can be the case. And I think we often, I know I'm guilty of this sometimes, but I'm like almost 10 years in, and I still sometimes don't realize the ways that I'm trying to reinvent the wheel, where I'm like, oh my
Right.
gosh, I have to come up with like something so profound to say in my newsletter this week, or else it's not worth sending. And it's like so silly. It's like I've written
Right.
every like most weeks for 9 years. I'm pretty sure I don't need to like come up with anything new. Like I could
Hmm.
just pull something from the past 9 years and like
Yes.
change, like update my perspective on it and send it out. It's not that hard, but
Oh
like,
my gosh,
it
thank
feels,
you for saying that. Thank you so much
oh,
for saying that. I was just on a
yeah.
call with one of my clients today and we're talking about, creating, a 90-day content plan. And I'm
Mhm.
like, look, like we don't need an entire like year's worth of content today. Like
Right.
honestly, no one's going to remember what I posted 90 days ago anyways. And if they do,
Totally.
amazing. It was, it's that repetition that's going to build belief anyway. So I think,
Mhm.
sometimes we definitely can make it a lot harder than it really needs to be, especially when we're not, super duper clear on having some of the foundations in our business, or knowing exactly, or even having some guidance on kind of how to navigate those sticky places for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just that outside perspective,
Mhm.
that when we're so in it,
Yeah.
we can't see the ways that we're making it harder for
Yeah.
ourselves than it
Oh,
needs to
yeah.
be. Like we need somebody like you or I to come in
Mhm.
and be like,
Yeah.
hey, let's actually just like move this here, move that there. What you're saying is this. Okay, great. Let's make a decision. Let's move forward this way. Let's repurpose this thing. And
Mhm.
like, you're good.
Yeah.
Go do the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, how can we
Yes.
actually make it easier for you and
Right.
almost like lubricate the process here of not making it so difficult and so challenging to move forward? Because we do meet those moments of resistance that feel like
Mm.
a gridlock in
Yeah.
our businesses in these different seasons of evolution. And I know for me, there's always this really distinct moment right before there's like a big breakthrough or new beginning where
Mhm.
I'm like emerging from like, it feels like I'm shot out of a cannon in that next phase. But the phase right before that is like, oh my God, nothing is working. Nobody wants this. What the heck am I doing? Why did I even
Yeah.
think that this was cool? Like, what is happening? I burn it all down. I
Yes.
quit. And it's like, it's so normal to feel that way. We just don't
Mhm.
have to act upon it. And that's
Yeah.
where it helps to have somebody in your corner to say, like, okay, I hear you and I've been there and that is normal. But we don't
Mhm.
know that it's normal because it's our first, like, it's us experiencing it firsthand and we don't have any context. And I think that's where, like, not only support in the form of like a coach, consultant, mentor comes in, but also like community and
Yeah.
other women who are also walking that path of evolutionary leadership and entrepreneurship, being able to say like, oh my gosh, I just went through this last week. So normal. It takes the charge out of it
Yeah.
and it lets
Yeah.
us move forward in a much more easeful way. And we have people around us to be like looking to the left and the right and being like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like, this is crazy, right? Like back in
Mhm.
July, I think it was July, maybe August, but everybody in our Women Up community membership was like, sales are so slow. What's going on?
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
was so helpful because everybody was like, oh, I thought it was just me. I thought I was
Mhm.
doing something wrong. I thought that like my business was broken. And this is
Yeah.
so helpful to hear that actually everybody in all these different industries and all these types of businesses is experiencing a dip. And oh, it's not there's nothing wrong with me and my business. It's just like the environment
Yes.
right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And not that we want to always blame like the external, but it is so helpful to have that realistic, like that reality check to be like, oh, I don't need to burn it all down. I don't need to change everything at one time. I
Mhm.
just need to like chill and ride
Yeah.
it out and like
Yeah. Yeah.
focus on what is working and emphasize that and be grateful for this and get
Mhm.
curious about that and ask my audience this and we'll move through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Community is so powerful. It really
Mhm.
is because I love, how you gave the example of, sales being down in July. It was,
Mhm.
I think, everywhere. We all experienced it. And yet,
Yeah.
until you realize that somebody else is going through that experience, you really do think like, all right, what's wrong and how do I fix it? Right?
Right.
What's going wrong? Well, what if nothing's going wrong? It's just one of the things, the seasons that we're
Mhm.
going through in the market. And when we have other women there that can validate that, but also share that they have felt like they wanted to burn their business down before. Like I've told my clients, I'm like, look, guys, you're going to want to burn your business down multiple times. Believe me,
Yeah.
like, it's such a normal thing to feel like, maybe I should just go be a barista at Starbucks. Like maybe
Truly.
that
Oh
would
my
just be
gosh.
the most amazing
Yes.
thing in the world to do.
The
Um,
benefits, the not having to think really that much. Like, I mean, there is a lot of thinking in that. There's a lot of logistics, but also it's like, okay, my brain can have a rest from these things. Yeah, I
yeah.
totally get it.
Oh
And I think
yeah.
that's like such a rite of passage moment too in business ownership to
It
be like,
is.
yes, today I had my first moment where I was like, I think I'll just revert back to something else.
Yes. Oh my
That's
gosh.
not this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because
I've
it's not
totally done
easy.
the same. Yeah.
And it's also like someone I spoke to today who just joined the mastermind for next year was saying like, I I realized that like I'm a solo business owner But the reality is like, this is not a solo sport. Like this should not be done alone. And it's so true, because she was like, even like everybody looks like they're doing it by themselves, but when you actually dig into the story and the background, everybody has a coach, everybody's got a mastermind, everybody has communities and relationships, and like 10 people holding them up and lifting them up behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see or hear about because you're looking at Sarah Blakely, or you're looking at whoever.
Right.
Fill in the blank with female founder who inspires you. But really, there's like a whole, even if you are a personal brand, even if you are, I don't know, Taylor Swift, you've still got like Tree Payne over in the corner being like, do this, don't do that, like kind of directing and guiding along the way to keep you on the path. And I think we don't realize that as much. And I think it's really great when we do have that light bulb moment of like, wait, yes, this is my business. And no, I don't have to walk this path fully alone, because that's going to lead to more struggle and resistance at every turn, because I'm trying, it's inefficient, basically. That's
I
my
want you to
rant
talk
about
more
that.
about community, because you've got two amazing communities. You've got the WMNûp community, and you also have your mastermind. So will you share a little bit about what each of those are and who they're for? Would love more people to kind of learn about how they can experience more of you and your community.
Definitely. So the WMNûp community membership is an annual membership, and it's a lot of things. It's evolved so much from the very beginning, which was like a year and a half ago, and it continues to evolve and become more of what our members really need and would find valuable. So like in the WMNûp community, not only is it an incredible network of women from all over the world who are running really cool businesses and making an impact and really innovating in their spaces and devoted to doing things differently, but we also have virtual trainings with me every month to keep you fresh on your like leadership and business development skills, and make sure that you're focusing on the areas of your business that probably need some attention that it's not getting at the moment. We also have female founder focus groups that happen in our community, and everything happens in one streamlined space, which is super cool, in Circle. So there's an app, so many things, but the female founder focus group is basically a monthly opportunity to bring your ideas to the table with other women entrepreneurs and like test and validate and bounce ideas around for something that you're thinking about offering, or refine an existing offer and really get feedback from the group that is diverse and interesting. And really, really valuable. Like the women who have attended those live have walked away with like brand new offers that then they're like, okay, great. Now this has sold out, and yay, it wouldn't have happened otherwise. So that's really cool to see. We also have a hard things swap monthly. So we also have this live event where you come and you bring something that's like really feeling sticky or hard for you, or there's a lot of resistance around, and you swap it with somebody else, and you take their hard thing and they take your hard thing, and then you both do it during that time. So it's like part work session, part community, part getting clear on like what's really in the way and holding you back, and what would be the highest leverage thing that you could trade with someone, because oftentimes the things that are the hardest for us are so easy for somebody else. It's like, oh, I need to draft an email that I'm really uncomfortable to send to someone. And so the person who doesn't have the emotional charge around that can really do that so easily, like 5 minutes, versus you sitting there and like overthinking it and getting freaked out and backpedaling and second guessing and all of that. So, or even if it's like, I have to pitch to, these 5 corporations to do a workshop or host a talk or something. It's like, that's so easy for someone who's not you, who can also see your brilliance and be like, of course they need to hire you to do this. Let me like write it or refine what you have and send it.
What a great idea.
So it's a really cool way to like really lean into the power of community and be there for each other in a unique and different way. We also have monthly resources and tools. So like templates and things that you can plunk right into your business and start benefiting from more systems and really have those foundational tools that a lot of business owners, even if they've been in business for like 20 years, do not have. I'm learning. So
share some of those systems. Do you mind?
Yeah.
What are some of the systems that people need that they might not know that they need?
Totally. One is like how to actually plan a profitable event, like a live event, how to actually do that and track your expenses and costs and set pricing that's appropriate, whether it's a retreat or like a, 2-hour event. Another is making sure that you have a lead tracker set up in your business and a way to follow up with and track the leads that you have incoming or the people that you're connecting with on the internet or on Instagram or through email or in real life or wherever you might be connecting with them and all the places so that you can keep it all in one spot. Another is trying to think of like what we've created recently, an SOP template. So standard operating procedures, how to actually create them and know which ones you need to create for your team and how to communicate them well. If you have somebody, even if it's a part-time assistant that you can communicate and delegate to effectively. So things like that. There are others, but just thinking off the top of my head.
Sure.
And then we also have a monthly funding roundup. So we'll post like all of the funding opportunities that are available for women entrepreneurs worldwide, nationally in the US and then in Canada and state by state so that people can see what's available to them if they're seeking funding and go apply for it. We have so many opportunities to like collaborate and learn from other members through monthly mini trainings and things like that. And then also we have fractional support. So we have monthly legal office hours with our in-house legal counsel, Laura DiFrancesco, who's part of our group, which is really fantastic. And it's a Q&A, so you can submit your questions ahead of time or attend live and then get them answered without having like a super costly retainer to like get a simple question answered from someone who's legal or who's specializes in like small business law. And then we also have virtual assistant on demand program, which is run by one of our other members, Maddie, who owns Hire Her Biz. It's a VA and OBM agency. And so we have 3 or 4 like in-house virtual assistants that are ready to take anything and everything off your plate, which is so nice because you don't have to, again, have like a full retainer or any kind of bigger expense that you're taking on in your business on a monthly basis. It's just like project based. They'll give you a quote for how long they think something will take and you'll pay them per hour for that. So it's such a great resource that a lot of women have used, and it's been really valuable for them to have that support on hand when they need it, if they need it, even if they might have other forms of support already in their business or a team. Like when your capacity is just limited, or maybe somebody's sick or you're sick and you need to meet a deadline, it's just so nice to have that there. So we have that. And then we're always adding additional things in there to be able to better serve our members. And so that's the WMNûp community membership. And in addition to that, there are opportunities to be like featured and connected with other women. And we have weekly accountability threads and celebration threads and all kinds of fun stuff to be able to keep you on track and connected with other members. And then the master, and that's for women, honestly, at like all levels. I know that that's unpopular to say, but it truly is. Like we have women who are starting and we have women who have been in their business for 20 years, truly, and everyone in between. And because of the way that we've structured the experience and the benefits that are just so multidimensional in there, truly everyone benefits. And it's just a matter of like, what do you need today that we can support you with? So that's been really cool to watch too. And then the mastermind is more for women who want to scale and who want to set up a business that is built to scale and expand beyond that like $100,000 a year and beyond. So whether they're, they might be making $100,000 and they want to scale up to 300,000, or they're making 200,000 and they want to scale up to 500,000 or whatever, or beyond. It's really super high touch support, one-on-one for me every month, group sessions, virtual planning sessions seasonally. So we're looking per quarter at what the priorities are, what the projects are, all of that. And then we also have a retreat in person in Sardinia, Italy this coming year, which I'm super excited about.
You normally go to Costa Rica, right?
I know.
So
well,
now
last year
in Italy.
Yeah, last year we went to Portugal. We went to Madeira, which was
Okay.
really like it felt like such a once in a lifetime trip. I know that I could always go back, but it was such a beautiful, like, we were on this island off the coast and it just felt so expansive and gorgeous and awesome. It's such an adventure to have together as a group. It was so beautiful. But yes, so this coming year we'll be going to Sardinia, which is a blue zone, and I've been wanting to go there. I was supposed to take a group there in 2020, but of course we know how that turned out. We had to change plans. But yeah, so that's what's coming in 2024. And, you know, it's called the Leadership Mastermind, and we do it every year, and it's only open once a year. And we have some early enrollment bonuses that allow people to get started sooner than January, which is our formal start date. And yeah, it's like always a very, very powerful, expansive experience for the women who are really ready to like hit the ground running and grow and accelerate growth and really scale their businesses beyond where they've been able to get thus far.
Yeah. And it's an intimate community too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, not like you're going to be in a room of hundreds. You're
correct.
You're in an intimate community, so that you really do get that high touch and wraparound support that you need.
Yes. Yep. I only accept 9 women maximum each year so that I can really be sure to deliver that high quality experience. And really I was telling someone today, like, I really view it as like, I'm almost your business partner silently in the background without you having to give up equity. Like, it's so fun. I love being able to partner with women in all different industries who are doing all different things. It's really like, it's where I thrive, in that sort of creative, innovative mode of cross-pollination and finding, you know, just all the ways that you like the untapped potential and the untapped opportunities, or the things that you might need to help you get to the next level, because I've seen so much over the last 9 years in helping women get to that place in their businesses where they're really thriving and feeling like they're building sort of like a life first business where there's a harmonious business ecosystem that feels regenerative. So that's really the goal of the mastermind. And it's so fun to get to work with people on such a deep level every single year in that way. So, and the women that come together for that, because it is such an intimate group, are always just like so fantastic and continue building their relationships with one another for long after the mastermind ends, and using and implementing what they've learned and gained from that experience for the lifetime of their business, which is so awesome to see as well.
Fantastic. So how can they get in touch with you, Emily, if people want to learn a little bit more? I will definitely pop in the description here. We'll make sure that we've got your social media and kind of where to contact or reach out to you if anybody's interested in either the Woman Up or the Mastermind, or just to say hello.
Yeah, come say hi.
Yeah, we can find you where?
You can find me at womanup.co. That's spelled WMNUP.co. That's our website where everything, all of the offers live, and you can apply for the mastermind or the community, and see all the details laid out visually in front of you. I know that's helpful for my brain.
It is totally. I'm like, can you send me something that I can actually look at?
Yeah, look at and see the breakdown. Totally. So that's where everything lives. And then you can also find me like personally on Instagram. I'm at Emily Cassel Official and at Woman Up. Again, spelled, we'll put it in the description, but WMNUP.
Amazing. Emily, this has been so much fun. We definitely
thank you so much.
For sure.
Yes, we'll have to have you on my podcast. So we'll get you on soon.
Totally. Thank you so much. It's been
Thank you.
so lovely. And you guys go check Emily out. Go say hello to her on Instagram. Go to the womenup.co. See what she's got there. It really is amazing. I'm actually inside of the Women Up community myself. So I can definitely tell you for sure that there's so much incredible value in there. And if you want, more personalized support, Emily's Mastermind is a really amazing place where you get to have that experience and travel like amazing to Sardinia. Holy cow.
I know.
So
it's
fun.
going to be so good. Yeah. And the food. I'm just excited about the food.
Same. We got some foodies here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us. And we will see you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.